What happens when a Hollywood visual effects artist starts channeling a multidimensional alien and that alien gives you the best advice of your life? Well, I'll never forget the first time I heard Bashar say, "Circumstances don't matter, only your state of being matters." Deep down, I knew it was true, but I wasn't ready to hear it. And the really crazy part, the wisdom didn't come from a therapist or a guru. It came from a non-physical being channeled by a guy who worked on Star Trek. At first, I was skeptical, but the teachings, they were so practical and so true, I couldn't ignore what started happening in my life once I tried them out. Before I found Bashar's work, I was exhausted from trying to do everything right, checking off all the boxes, making sure everyone was proud of me, doing what a good immigrant should do. But I was completely out of alignment, and the worst part, I didn't even know what alignment felt like anymore. And then I heard Bashar say, act on your highest excitement with zero expectations of that outcome. And for the first time in a long time, I felt free. Like there was a version of life where I didn't have to suffer in order to be worthy, where joy wasn't a reward, it was the actual journey. So who is Bashar? Well, Bashar is a multidimensional being from a hybrid race called the Essassani, who is channeled by Daryl Anka, and Daryl is a visual effects artist in Los Angeles. And after experiencing multiple UFO sightings in the late 70s, Daryl went down the rabbit hole, and in 1983, he began channeling Bashar for live events and for recordings. Now I know what you're thinking, this sounds like some woo-woo spirituality or some crazy science fiction. But what's wild is that Bashar's teachings echo what quantum physics, mystics, and even trauma-informed healers are now saying. Number one, your state of being is your most powerful tool. Number two, you shift into new realities with every belief and every breath. And number three, excitement. It's not just indulgent, it's actually your guiding frequency. All right, so now that we know who Bashar is and why I started paying attention, let's dive into the core of his teachings, the ones that, if you actually live them out, can completely rewire how you experience reality. These aren't just nice ideas, these are living frequencies, and each one is like a permission slip to step out of the struggle and step into flow. So let's break down the top 5 core principles and let's talk about what they really mean in real life. Number 1, follow your highest excitement. So Bashar says, follow your highest excitement to the best of your ability with zero insistence on the outcome. And that is the golden thread in all of Bashar's teachings. And at first listen, it sounds really cute, right? Like a really good meme of following your bliss. But Bashar is precise. He's saying your excitement is actually a frequency, a signal, a code from your higher self. And the best way you navigate this reality is by tuning into that signal moment by moment. And here is the nuance. He's not saying to quit your job or to move to Bali today. He's saying out of all the options that you have right now, what's the one that feels the most alive, that feels the most exciting? So maybe it's taking a walk, calling a friend, starting the project that you've been avoiding, reading a page of that book that's been laying on your desk for the last 6 months, and then just follow the trail like it's a spiritual GPS, and you follow it without needing to know where it's going. And this is what really blew my mind, because we're so conditioned to ask, where will this lead me to? And Bashar is saying it already led you to the next step, and that is enough. So when you act on your highest excitement, you send a signal to the universe that I trust my alignment more than my fear, and the universe responds every single time. Concept number 2, you create your reality. So this one is really massive, and it's something we hear a lot in the spiritual and manifestation circles, but Bashar, he takes it to the next level. He says, you don't change the world that you live in, you shift to a parallel version of Earth that already reflects your new vibration. So in other words, you're not trying to change the external world. You're shifting your state of being so that you align with a different version of reality, one that already contains what you are seeking. And here's the quantum kicker. Bashar says we shift through billions of parallel realities per second. So I want you to sit with that for just one moment. It means you're not manifesting something from scratch. You're tuning your frequency to the version of reality where that thing already exists. So this isn't too different than what Dr. Joe Dispenza says. It's like you're switching radio stations. The music was already playing, you just weren't tuned into the proper frequency. So when you ask, why isn't this happening yet? The answer is usually because you're still tuned into the version of reality where it hasn't happened yet. And here's what really helped me feel that. I stopped trying to force changes out there, and I started asking, what would the version of me who already has this believe, feel, and act like? Then I would do that. And without fail, opportunities, ideas, and synchronicities would show up that match that new frequency. And you don't create reality through mindless effort. You create it through alignment. Concept number 3, everything is neutral and you are the one that assigns the meaning. This one was a really tough pill for me to swallow, because what do you mean that everything is neutral? What about all the pain that I felt, all the injustices, all the trauma that I went through? But Bashar, he's not saying these things don't matter. He's saying that the circumstance itself is neutral and the meaning you assign to it is what creates your experience. So, for example, let's say you lose your job. You could assign the meaning that this is a disaster, that I'm a failure, that I feel insecure, or you could assign the meaning that this is a portal to something better that is calling me forward. And it's the same event, but different reality. And here is the deepest truth. The meaning you choose comes from the frequency you emit, and the frequency you emit becomes a reality you experience next. So if you want to shift your life, start by shifting your meanings. Bashar says, if you assign a positive meaning to any situation, you get a positive effect. If you assign a negative meaning, you get a negative effect. The choice is always yours. And this doesn't mean you bypass your emotions. It means that you should become conscious of the story that you're choosing to tell and why you tell that story. And the moment you realize you're the storyteller, you get your power back. Concept number 4, circumstances don't matter, only state of being matters. And this is a teaching that I personally come back to the most because every time I start freaking out about something external, money, relationships, rejection, fear of the unknown, I hear Bashar in my head saying, you're focused on the mirror instead of the face. So I want you to think about that. Imagine standing in front of a mirror, trying to change your reflection, but refusing to move your actual face. It's like saying, I will smile when you smile. And if you're staring at the mirror, expecting the mirror to smile first, you're going to be waiting a really long time. And that's what most of us do with our lives. We try to fix the mirror, our circumstances, but we ignore the state of being that created the reflection in the first place. Bashar often says, if you prioritize your frequency, reality has no choice but to mirror that back to you. And this doesn't mean everything will go your way, but it does mean that your inner peace, your joy, your worthiness, they become non-negotiable. When you focus on your vibration first, you stop trying to control everything. You become the calm in the storm, not the storm itself. Concept number 5, abundance is the ability to do what you need to do when you need to do it. And this one completely changed the way how I relate to money because like the most of us, I thought abundance meant a number in my bank account. But Bashar says, abundance is not about money. It's about the ability to take action. So I want you to hear that again. Abundance is not about money. It's about the ability to take action. Abundance is access, not accumulation. Abundance is flow. It's not storage. Have you ever had just enough money show up right when you needed it? That's abundance. Have you ever met the right person, got the exact information, or experienced perfect timing in a way that you couldn't plan? Well, that's abundance too. So instead of asking, do I have enough money? You could ask, can I take action that excites me right now? Because when you follow your excitement, you become the conduit through which abundance flows. And the irony, when you stop chasing money and start aligning with your highest joy, the money shows up anyways, because money is just one expression of abundance. Your job isn't to attract money. It's to become the version of you who no longer resists it or needs it. So each of these teachings are very, very powerful on their own. But when you start living all 5 together, you really start bending reality. You experience more flow, more trust, more magic. And the best part, you don't have to believe any of this blindly because Bashar says, don't believe it because I say it. Believe it because you test it and it works. So even if just one part of this lights up something inside of you, give it a try. Try following your excitement for a few days. Try shifting the meaning you give to a hard situation. Try focusing on your state of being instead of your problems. Just give it a try because this is a living practice and the version of you who already lives this way, that version already exists. You're the one choosing whether you get to meet them or not. Let's just pause for a second. Let me ask you something that might shift your entire week. What's one thing that you used to love to do as a kid? Something that really lit you up, but you stopped doing because it didn't seem practical. Maybe it's drawing for hours. Maybe it's making up stories, pretending to be a healer, staring at the stars like you were waiting to be picked up by a spaceship. Now let's be honest, does some part of you still miss this? Because that thing that you were feeling, that was your natural frequency before the world told you who you should be. So drop it in the comment section, whatever memory just came up, because that's your soul leaving you a breadcrumb that you could follow. And while you're at it, what's one small thing that you could do today that would feel very exciting? Maybe even if it's just 1% more exciting than what you're doing now. It could be dancing. It could be calling that person that you've been avoiding. It could be filming that video that you've been scared to post. Seriously, just pause this video if you need to jot it down. I want to see what your excitement is whispering to you, because Bashar says that when you act on it, even in small ways, the entire quantum field starts reorganizing around you. So let's turn this comment section into a collective vortex of people acting on their highest joy. You just never know who you'll inspire just by sharing your work. Okay, so let's talk about the part that really trips people up, because yes, Bashar's voice could be a bit blunt, and yes, he's supposedly from a future civilization called the Ssani, and of course he says some things that make you want to pause the video and be like, man, that can't be true. Like this: you shift through billions of parallel realities every single second. You don't change your reality, you change yourself and experience a different version of reality that already exists. Now, if you're like me, your logical brain is probably going, billions of realities per second? This sounds like sci-fi. But here's where it gets super interesting. That idea actually lines up with certain interpretations of quantum mechanics, like the many world theory. And Bashar isn't the only one saying it. Mystics, spiritual teachers, even advanced physicists, they're all circling the same core truth. Your consciousness isn't just in the universe, it creates the version of the universe that you are experiencing. And when I stopped trying to make sense of it with my brain and started feeling it in my body, that's when things got weirdly accurate. I noticed myself making a tiny shift, like choosing trust instead of fear. And suddenly everything around me began to respond. I'd get an email that I've been waiting for. A payment would clear faster than expected. A chance encounter would lead to exactly what I needed next. Was it magic? No, it was alignment. And here's the best part. You don't need to believe that Bashar is an alien. You don't have to buy into the packaging to receive the transmission, because the frequency is what matters. And if something in this resonates with you on a deep cellular level, even if your mind is skeptical, that's your inner being saying, pay attention. So yeah, I know it's hard to believe, but so is the idea that we're flying through space on a rock spinning 1,000 miles per hour. Meanwhile, you're still worried about being 10 minutes late for a Zoom meeting. If this video stirred something inside of you, if part of you feels like you've been waiting to hear this, not just the words, but the feeling underneath them, then this is my invitation to you. I created a free meditation community for people like us, people who are waking up, tuning in and learning to trust their inner frequency again. It's a space where you'll find guided meditations to help you shift timelines, live sessions to align your state of being, and a whole vortex of others walking the exact same path, with joy, with curiosity, and without judgment. So if your heart's saying yes, follow that. Click the link in the description and join us inside the free community. Because remember, Bashar says, you are the creator of your reality, and now it's time to act like it. And acting like it starts with choosing your frequency. Not someday, not when it's convenient, but now. So let this be your moment. I love you, I believe in you, and if you liked what you heard, leave a comment below, subscribe to this channel, and go ahead and watch this video next.